When I was a child, I was brought up in an old traditional household. And my father was the only son in the family. So traditionally, as a traditional custom, I lived with my grandparents, my father's parents. So I was brought up in a traditional way, and our family and also our ancestor was a kind of the head of community, and also we had a duty to support all the activities of our local Shinto shrine. So my grandfather was the head of, I don't know what it's called, this community. And then we as a family, and since I was very small, I spent a lot of time in the Shinto shrine, and also Shinto's priest and his wife and his children. So we were not related immediately, but we were like a big family together as well. Even my name, Azumi, with three different characters, was given by the Shinto priest, which I learned, which my parents taught me. So they had to choose from one of three options, and they chose Azumi, and it means peace. A is from the character of peace. Zu means like the jewel, round. Mi is beauty. And the message was, if I translate into English, it means to live as peaceful, as beautiful as a jewel. So that was a kind of my life mission. It was given by the Shinto shrine to our family. So when I was not living accordingly, my mother always still reminds me of my name. So what does your name mean? So it's actually very good, nice way, because I never forget my names. So when I was a child, and also through my teenage years, I also served as Miko. Miko means shrine maiden. So it means we are the assistant of Shinto priest to conduct all the ceremonies and also some rituals. I wore white kimono on top, then big red hakama. It looked like trousers. It's like big culotte. You may have seen in the photos, or if you have been to Japanese shrine, you may have seen it. So it was one of my duty. And especially New Year's Day, from New Year's Eve towards New Year's Day, I worked 24 hours, and it was also part of the training. The training means life training. It's a kind of discipline that I had to do. So you might be wondering, what did I learn from these practices and what I learned from the Shinto priest? So first of all, in Shintoism, there is no dogma and there is no special founder, although there are some mythologies and everything is recorded, how Shinto and how our ancestor, how the people in Japan were practicing. And this record goes way back to 6th century. However, there is no Bible like somewhere like I can go to read. And of course, there are some calendars, seasonal calendars, and also there's mythology and rituals, daily rituals and ceremony. So there are some references that I followed and practices I followed. And especially the time that I spent with the Shinto priest and also his wife. During our conversation, mostly only a few words. We interact quite a lot in silence. Means connect in the energy. So his energy is really the most divine energy. Of course, he is a priest and has certain dignity and grace and also love and compassion and a very gentle energy. So when I was with him and his aura, especially when he's wearing this ceremonial costume, it is such a divine energy that I was able to feel. And few words that he expressed during the conversation and sometimes nodding, and the the rhythm of conversation is just so different, and what we engage, and even some small chit chat, and there are some meaning. Like in any other masters of Japanese craftsmanship, they all speak only few words, but in these few words there are so much meaning. So this is our skill that we had to develop. What does it mean? And also to inquire ourselves what it means. So just by looking how he walked and how he used his body and how he interacted, even how he bowed, there are so much teaching in it. So what I learned and what they let us learn is from their behavior, not from telling this is good and this is bad, and it was not like that. Like, for example, the purifications, and through the ceremony, like in Shinto, everything is about purifying our energy, purifying our body, purifying our environment, and also respecting nature. I also saw how he contact with, for example, flowers and all the trees, and how he cares about the environment of the shrine, and there are so much respect as if they are like a human. So the way he respected the nature, and even a branch of tree, and how he dealt with it, how he hoarded it, there is so much grace and respect. So then all the energy comes out, becomes love and compassion. So when we are with him, everything becomes so harmonious because his inside is also pure, and that's how he practice and also share this pure energy is more than the words can describe. So that's what I learned. And for example, at home, my mother disciplined me very well. So there are lots of things that, on the contrary to the priest, I learned more about practical things from my mother regarding Shinto, and especially daily rituals, and also about posture, etc. So you might be thinking, posture, how to walk and how to sit. It's also influence our energy and how we can actually let our energy flow relate to if we were in a strange posture, or also like holding like this, and the energy, we cannot digest well. And the energy, how our energy flows and how we let our energy flows. And that's also the part of purifying ourselves. So as a child, I read some Shinto mythologies, but it was more like, in a way, reading a story. There is nothing like a Bible. So what Shinto priests teach is really about daily rituals, practices, and during the seasonal ceremonies and festival in Shinto shrine, there are also teachings. And of course, during these seasonal ceremonies, he explained what this ceremony is. So then there is also a very brief summary written and about the ceremony. So this is how we learn about it. So then again, this is about connecting with nature and appreciation, prayer of appreciation, and not only to the people, but also to nature, to universe, and to appreciate our life, our being, and also appreciation to our ancestors. So very much about appreciation, and instead of having anger, we replace that feeling with appreciations. And so these are really fundamental. It's common sense in a way, but it is difficult to practice if we are not paying attention to it. So that's basically what I learned, but also Japanese Buddhism as well. we learn more from actions, and then we learn with our body and practices, and rather than just mind. If you read, yes, we gain knowledge, which is good. But then how do we use it? So if we don't use what we know, it only stays in head, then we have to really practically apply to it. So in Japan, in my childhood, what I learned was really from interacting and also watching and really learning by doing. So you might think, so how can I learn? I'm not in Japan, I don't have Shinto priest. So there are daily practices. You might be disappointed because it's so simple, but it's part of teaching. And sometimes we might think like religion or some wise man's teaching looks complicated and sounds complicated. It might feed your intellectual ego, but in reality, something very simple is difficult. Shinto, to start with, it's about purification, to clean our environment, to keep our house clean. And in my last talk, I talk about Japanese minimalism and to keep the space in our life and empty space in our life rather than putting everything in and trying to delete things from what we have, create this peaceful space in our house and avoid cluttering, avoid throwing things away in the street. So really taking care of our environment and then ourselves to keep our inner world clean. And we don't say bad things to others, but we might be thinking about it. So really purify our environment, our inner world. And that's one of the most fundamental exercise. So there are other things that I could share, and also there are articles that I have written, like 7 daily rituals from Shinto. So you can also go back there, and also I have made a video about it. If you focus on one thing, then it also leads to respecting and leads to creating harmony and then creating stillness inside. So one fundamental things can lead to many different things and then can keep our energy, life force energy, filled with joy, filled with peace, filled with love. And that's what we like to have. And of course, there are negative feelings, sadness, anger, which is also normal. But then we don't put them down, but we realize that, and then we transform this energy to higher life force energy. Thank you for watching. For those who would like to learn from me more intense level, I offer a 30 days program. So it's one-on-one coaching, and then I make personalized program that you can practice for 30 days. So that has been really producing great result for my clients, especially for somebody who has like creative blocks or going through burnout. And with 30 days, with our effort together, there are much we can obtain. If you are interested in, please click the link in the description, and see you soon.